We're back on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. We've done the top 20 running backs on our 2014 fantasy football rankings, and today we're going to look at 5 guys on the running back position that I just feel are being severely undervalued and going to wind up greatly surpassing their average draft value. Now, these aren't necessarily sleepers because we're probably going to do a sleeper running back list at some point before the fantasy football season starts. These, like I say, are guys that you could find ranked under number 30 in both Yahoo and ESPN fantasy rankings. And I just really think, like I said, you grab them late, you're going to wind up looking very smart by the end of the season. We're going to start with a guy who, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the only one talking about this guy. Pierre Thomas is average going in the 13th round in most fantasy football drafts from the New Orleans Saints. But with the departure of Darren Sproles, even though Sean Payton loves to use as many different running backs as possible, Pierre Thomas is without question the most talented back he has at his disposal. During the course of his career, he's had 3 seasons where he's gone for over 1,000 all-purpose yards on the ground and through the air. Last season, he had a career-high 77 receptions with 513 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, and he did add 549 rushing yards as well. The thing to keep in mind with Pierre Thomas, he has never had one season where he's rushed over 200 carries. So he has a lot of life left in him, and if Sean Payton ever wants to rely on him as his primary bell cow, he's not going down. He's got plenty of tread left on his tires. At the 13th round in most fantasy drafts, this guy's a steal this year. Number 2 is going to be Lamar Miller of the Miami Dolphins, who is praying, and anybody who has kept him on a dynasty league is praying that no Sean Moreno really is going to be out for the season. He suffered an injury, which is possibly an ACL injury, and if you're a Lamar Miller owner, like I said, you're praying that this is severe. He didn't have a great season last year. 709 rushing yards, only 180 receiving yards, going in the 15th round. But if Moreno is out for the season, Miller has already been ranked as the number 1 back for Miami, even with Moreno healthy. If Moreno's out for the season, Miller's draft value is going to skyrocket. Grab him while you can. Number 3 is going to be Darren Sproles of the Philadelphia Eagles, also taken on average in the 13th round. This is a guy coming off of 3 consecutive seasons with over 70 receptions at the running back position. And as much as the Eagles are saying they plan on lining him up more as a running back than a wide receiver than New Orleans was doing, you want this guy on your team for the explosive potential he carries with him. And at the 13th round, another one. Take advantage of other people's follies here. The next guys we're going to look at on the list is the Oakland Raiders running backs of Darren McFadden and Maurice Jones-Drew. Going in the 14th and 12th round on average. McFadden's coming off of his worst season as a whole since 2009. Maurice Jones-Drew was still putting up 1,000 all-purpose yards for a team as bad as the Jaguars were last year. And neither one of them have ever really been able to stay healthy. But with both of them taking some pressure off, complementing each other, I got to be honest, I think this is a great move for both of them, where they can each split some carries, keep themselves fresh, and actually play an entire 16-game season where you have them towards fantasy finals weeks. So if you take either one of these guys, I feel like they're going to wind up vastly exceeding their average draft position. And the last guy we're going to talk about on this list is Andre Brown, who has signed with the Houston Texans this year. Now, Andre Brown may seem like more of a handcuff pick because you do have Arian Foster ahead of him. Keep in mind what Brown was able to do in his first 5 games back off of injury last year for the New York Giants. He had 504 all-purpose yards with 3 touchdowns, and he threw in 14 receptions. Even though, like I said, he's going to wind up playing second fiddle for Arian Foster is not exactly the most durable person in the league. Brown is going to be involved in that offense. Houston has been known to use 2 running back sets. If you take him late, I really think you're going to be surprised here. And Brown wasn't even ranked in terms of average draft value, so most people are not drafting him when they sit down to the fantasy table. Take advantage of this. So once again, the guys we talked about who are undervalued, in my opinion, Pierre Thomas of the New Orleans Saints, Lamar Miller of the Miami Dolphins, Darren Sproles of the Philadelphia Eagles, Run DMC Darren McFadden and MJD Maurice Jones-Drew of the Oakland Raiders, and Andre Brown of the Houston Texans. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at We Are SportsZone. Send us any questions and comments you may have. Thanks everyone for watching. For This is SportsZone, I am Mike Aglialoro. We'll see you next time, folks.